We're
I don't
live.
think we'll get the same. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go. I don't think we'll get the same reception as we did day one, but as long as we get it. Oh, you did upload the picture.
I did. I
Okay, cool.
fixed everything I could think of that was like not correct. So I'll just get like logo stuff thrown in for next time. But aside from that, I think this is like the final product. So if in the future I can just like change the guest webcam and then I won't actually
Mhm.
have to make any more changes, which would be super nice. I'm not
Can you
streaming my
not load for me?
screen, am I? No, it's just
I
this.
don't know.
Okay. I was gonna be really concerned if I was showing my
All right, we'll wait a little
my
bit till people trickle in,
my
and then we'll get into it.
school financials information. I was like, I don't want to put that on stream. I think I'm all right.
Dox yourself.
Yeah, for real.
No, we'll wait till we get like a couple people to trickle in, and then we'll get going.
If you want, you can leave me in this chat. I can just like, if you want like a third opinion on
In
like
and out, yeah.
suggestions for your discussion points, like how we did with some of the ones
Yeah.
tonight.
I think I'll just do it with whoever is in week to week. I think that's at least what I think. I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, I mean, obviously it's fucking day 2. We don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying like episode 5, like you run out of interesting people in the league, so.
No, Eric, I'm not going to show you my school financials. I'd really rather not dox myself
Ooh,
on
okay.
purpose.
The new text is like nice.
The one that comes up on the screen.
All right, cool.
I might want to edit that actually. They both have blue names and we have a blue background. I wonder if I can put like a slight background tint on it. That would be cool.
By the way, we are talking about draft. All right, 5. Wait for like 1 or 2 more, and then we'll get going, guys. Is that a line? Okay, we're fine. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome. Hope we are enjoying our Saturday night.
Yeah, I guess that is what day it is.
Could be.
All right. Oh yeah, we have VODs on too now, right? Yeah, sorry guys about last week. We like tried to do VODs and then we like messed it up or something. I don't know.
Oh, there's definitely a VOD this week though. I actually have it working now. It'll save to Twitch, and then I also have a local recording going to my PC, so I'll put to
Did you
YouTube.
get Mario as the special guest? Yeah, Harry's got the stash going on. He styled it for tonight.
Sir.
All right, cool. Harry. Okay, no, we're good. All right, cool. I don't know who's coming in. For right now, though, I think we're good to start. Welcome, guys. This is week 2 of Parting Shot. Parting Shot is our UCL type podcast thing. We're just here to talk about the league, things about it, the way it works, all that. I'm Tim. I was commissioner last season. You should know me. If not, again, commissioner last season. Now I'm just a player in the league. I've handed over commissioner to Facade, who is somewhere next to me on this screen, left or right. Yeah, and this is kind of our show where we're just going to talk about different things. Today's going to be the drafting episode. Basically, we're going to talk about the draft, which starts tomorrow, I think is 6. Yeah, we're going to draft our teams and see how that goes. So we'll talk about things that, aspects of the draft, how it works, things we think are sleeper, good, bad in the draft, stuff like that. Tim, Bigpugs. Next, we have Facade next to me, Trevor.
Yo.
Tell them what you're about.
I'm commissioning this season. That means if you want to complain, come talk to me. If you want to if you want some corruption in your favor, you want to get some free wins maybe, come talk to me, tell me how cool I am. Maybe your opponent happens to forfeit on the week of a hard match, that'd be cool, right?
Yeah. All right, and finally we have our guest today, Harry, longtime UCL participant. I think he was season 1, in and out of the league for years, but well-known draft expert, big fan of the draft, big fan of the UCL and Pokemon in general. Harry, tell them what you're about.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but I essentially engineered the draft format that we currently use alongside people like Tim and Armand. But basically, if you don't know, the way that the draft used to be was every single round of the draft was randomized, and it made for some pretty horrible draft experiences with people ending up with like last pick every round. And you also had to pick an order for a while. So we removed that to make it more like a fantasy sports draft, which is sort of what it's like outside of the tier lists, of course. So, and that's also where the snake draft came from.
Cool. So that's us. Again, this is going to be our drafting episode. So the first thing we're going to do here is mostly for the new players is just kind of discuss how the new draft format works or how we draft in the UCL. It's a point buy system, but we wanted to keep it somewhat, again, like a fantasy format. So it's not only point buy, there's also tiers. If you were to open up the sheet, it's on the top of the Discord. You'll see a colored tier list of red, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, pink. That basically, and they have a point value. But those are all Pokemon that we, and as well as other people, have found out to be at equal levels of strength. A yellow will generally be better than a green will be better than either of the blues, and the blues will generally be better than the pink. Not always true, but this is kind of what the league agreed on. We try to make the point of draft, especially the point of draft of Pokemon in general, is to be able to use Pokemon that are not often used or not seen on ladder on certain levels. Because in draft, you have to use everything you have available to you on a certain value. So you can use something that's really not as seen on the OU ladder or whatever ladder you play on, in conjunction with these mons that we see that are killing OU. And to me, one of my favorite parts about it is, again, making something work, making something seem really good. You know, using your 100 to win games. It feels real nice. So what we do here is the first 6 rounds is you draft one of each position. A Mega, which would be the top tier, yellow, green, blue, pink. Those are 6 mons that would fill a roster. That's our first 6 rounds. It'll go in a serpentine order. You know, first we'll get first in the first round, first we'll get last in the second round. Normal like that. Then we can go in, after we have that, we'll have a full out roster of 6 mons of a certain tier, and we go into point buy. If you guys kind of want to discuss how point buy works, we can do that right now.
Yeah, so you get you have 400 points off the start, and you have 4 picks that go towards your point buy. So across those 4 picks,
400
you get
points
400 points to spend them as you choose across the different tiers, with better mons being costing more points. And then the only additional influence you have over that point number is depending on what kind of mega you take, that number changes. So better megas will cost some of your points, so that in later rounds you won't be able to get quite as powerful mons to kind of like balance out the power levels of drafts a little bit.
Yeah, so the megas too, the way it works is because the megas are kind of Pokemon in their own. They're not really like a tierable in the same way that everything else is. They used to be, and it kind of worked for a little while, but on the new system, the megas are you have to get a mega. And you don't have to use it every week, but when you do get it, the power of your mega scales to how many points you are allowed to draft later on. For example, Mega Ampharos is not going to be as useful in every single match as Mega Charizard X will. So whereas Mega Charizard X will take away from that 400 point total, Mega Ampharos will actually add on to it, allowing you to draft a stronger backside of your roster. This is just kind of like a balancing mechanism for players who want to take a mon that's not as impactful in a very impactful role. They get a little bump to their point value, they get a little bump to their draft in order to make it stronger, with pieces protecting that mega. Simple enough, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So now we'll actually kind of get into the draft, and I'm going to kind of call this segment, I have my pick, now what? We're just going to kind of go into drafting effectively at your position. You know, at this point, the draft positions have come out. All 28 people know their position in the draft, and they've been planning. But a lot of people might not know, hey, you know, I'm 28th, I'm 20th, I'm 16th. What really should I be aiming for? So we're going to kind of do a quick overview of, like, what should you be aiming for? With your pick in the draft, what's the right direction to go? And the best place to start is the top. So we're going to go, like, early picks, kind of like 1 through 6, 1 through 7, kind of like the top half of the league. Kind of what you want to do with those picks. Generally, and again, this is for me, if you guys want to interrupt me here, that's fine. Generally, if you get one of these picks, you want to pick a mon that's extremely consistent and extremely powerful. Although all mons are in the same tier, not all mons are created exactly equal. You know, there's the top of the tier, and then there's the bottom of the tier. When you get an early pick, when you get a 1 through 6, you want to grab one of the best megas or the best 180s in the game. These are generally just the best Pokemon available. And you're kind of like hindering yourself if you take something so high up in the tier and then have to wait another 50, 60 turns for another mon. So generally, when you grab an early pick, you want to grab something that is really, really going to be consistent and applicable in a lot of your games. because it sucks if you grab something that's going to be, not as strong in some games.
And just to interject him, when you say a mon that is extremely consistent and strong, it doesn't always have to be a mon that is just a powerhouse that kills things. It can also be a mon, a great example being Mega Caesar, where it can fill a lot of roles on your team early on in the draft and give you a lot of flexibility with your later picks, where you can get mons that can sweep or wall break, etc., because Mega Caesar kind of functions as a tank. He can be a sweeper, he could be a defogger, he could be a pivot, he could do all these things. That's what makes him such a staple in the top 5 usually every season.
Mega Caesar, one of the reasons he is, again, one of these staple top 5s is what Harry said. There's really never a match where you can look at Mega Caesar and go, he doesn't make a lot of sense here, or, oh, I can't make him work, or, oh, he doesn't answer these mons. Generally, he has a way to affect the game. That's why he's such a good first pick, because his value, your ability to bring him every single week, is going to be consistent. We kind of together put up a list of like what we think are top 5 top picks, and we have Mega Caesar. Obviously, we just talked to. I think Tapu Lele is an absolute top pick. Where Harry said something about wall breaking, Tapu Lele is one of the genuine hardest hitters in the league, and will hit most teams very, very hard in general. She has really good coverage, really good stabs, and one of the hardest hitting moves in the game with her psychic in terrain. I just have her up there. I think when you're trying to just make sure you can, any mon that you come across can do some type of reliable damage to, we have her. We have Tapu Koko. There's a lot to be said about this mon. It does a lot of things, super fast electrics are nice, and we have the Greninjas. But outside those, the obvious tops, do you guys have any personal favorite picks that could go in a top 5 that you say, hey, this mon's really, really good, and really I think it's worth one of the top spots?
Do you want to go first, Trev?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so in staying with the theme of flexibility, and kind of playing off of the Mega Caesar point I made, I think both Clefable and Mew are some of the most versatile mons in the 180 tier. I think they actually fill a lot of roles, but in different ways, and they also can really, really have their move sets tinkered with every single week to specifically counter the team that you're about to play against.
Yeah, Clefable especially. I'm a big fan of Clefable. Having 2 really, really, really good abilities. Her stats always kind of seem underwhelming when you look at it, but the thing about Clefable, and especially on ladder, she always kind of finds her way into meta, or finds her way into being useful, just because she has so many different little options. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Clefable. Mew is the same thing. I mean, Chris Jorg, 7-8-time, billion-time champion, has said that's pretty much his favorite mon in draft. It's a good mon. Trevor, what about you?
I mean, the Lotties are pretty good, and I think especially like the Mega Lotties just take that and just elevate it so much. The stat changes are so significant on those mons, where it really opens up Latios to actually being able to use its physical attack stat as coverage, or even like full invested, because it goes up to 130, which, like, for a crazy broken mon, 130 is not necessarily the number you think of, but that's next to a 160 special attack, which is kind of insane number.
And it has access to Dragon Dance. And
it sure does. And it's got 110 speed, which is like that sweet spot number. And then you boost it higher, and now it's contesting 110 Scarfers faster. I think Victini's a pretty good one.
110 is a very nice precipice to hit.
It has like a good degree of versatility, not quite to the degree of something like a Clefable, but what it's missing in that sheer amount of options, it makes up for in the amount of power it has in what it does do. Where a Clefable isn't really going to just walk through and OHKO the entire team. Like, Banded V-Create is just disgusting.
I was about to say, a lot of the power in Victini is surprisingly not so much in his stats, but his stabs. His same type attack bonuses. Things like V-Create are just so heavy, and he has, Searing Shot. The amount of the moves that Victini has that really, really help him are nice. you don't think about it because he's one of those mystics, one of those 100s across the board. But Victini's pure stab attacks, very, very strong. Yeah, also, absolutely. Kind of mentioning on that Laddie stat, the Mega Laddie stat, when you think of the Laddies, generally you think of special attackers, but 130 is actually really, really intimidating. It's the same as Charizard X. It's right under Tyranitar. It's near Dragonite, Excadrill. These are all very well-known physical attacking mons that hit super, super hard. You don't think that when you see Mega Laddie, but it is hitting equally as hard. I just kind of put that in there because, again, Dragon Dance, you don't expect it, but it's a very, very viable set of Mega Laddie.
Last time I played, I had Mega Latios. Yeah. That thing's a monster, and you could bring a different set every week. Physical, special, tank, doesn't matter.
For me, one mon that I think has constantly fallen under the wayside and is worth an absolute top 10 pick. This might be kind of a hot take, but it is definitely my take. Como-O is out of control. Como-O's it's very, very unique typing. He has access to rocks. He has access to taunt. He has a lot of very interesting moves. Both bulletproof and soundproof are good abilities. And then you throw overcoat on top of it. With the removal of Z moves, they've added Clangorous Soul, which is the same thing that his Z move kind of was, except it doesn't do damage, and it does damage to himself. But our league also allowing Z moves allows a conjunction of these. So Como actually has a dual Omni boost, as well as really good defensive stats to back that up. He has both a good attack and special attack stat, good attack and special attack move pool, good defense and special defense, serviceable speed. Like, it just does everything, man. And it has so many different options, so many different things it can do. Again, like I said, it sets rocks, taunt, it can toxic. The unique typing is really, really hard to break. Like, actually very, very confusing to get through. Just Dragon Fighting, it's the only thing that offers the unique resistances that it does. I can think like a 4 times to poison. I normally use it in my teams as an electric resist. It's a fire resist. I think Como is a top 5 mon. Normally kind of gets forgotten about or goes into the wayside, but geez, Como is good. Belly Drum, everything that you think you want from this mon.
A lot of parallels with Mega Latios as well. It can be run special, physical, tank, stall.
Yeah, so those are some of our first picks. This is kind of more open to the middle picks. So the middle picks is kind of player consistent, and I'm happy we have the people we do have on the show, because I think all of us have kind of genuinely unique play styles. But if you guys were to end up in a middle pick, somewhere between 13 to 20, what direction do you think you would go with that pick?
Well, I personally am looking for some of the mons that we have even suggested to fall from the top pickers that are going to want to go more for like mons that they have specific biases towards. That usually happens. I think I'm pick 16, so I have some hope of getting what I want. And then on my second swing around, I'm looking to really solidify my core with whatever I get. I'm kind of picking on the fly, so.
Yeah, and I'm something around, I think, like 24. So in my mind, I mean, even down at 24, I really feel like there's always a possibility that some of these absolute dynamite mons manage to fall down that far, just because, like Harry said, people have specific biases, or they have something in mind they want to draft. And aside from that, I think if I really, like, it came to my spot and like what I was planning, or like just all the crazy mons got taken and I just didn't know what to get, I think at that point, I mean, I'm pretty close to the back wheel, so I get my second pick pretty fast. I think I would just try to like think about 2 picks at the same time and try to grab a core instead of grabbing just a single mon.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get into the later picks too. If I'm looking middle, generally, the first thing I look for is what's called a wall breaker. There's mons that are walls. There's a lot of tanky mons in draft. Even too, if a mon is good offensively, it's going to naturally be higher tiered because there are a lot of really, really just bulky mons that exist in the lower tiers. I don't like grabbing bulky mons in higher tiers because I feel like you can generally find things that occupy their niche lower, which brings me naturally to go for something more wall breaker, something that can do a lot of damage. Just because the things that can really reliably and consistently do damage are going to naturally shift towards a higher tier. It's just by the virtue of the game being a lot of tanks. There's a lot of things that move down that maybe only occupy unique niches, But as your draft kind of comes together and gets put together, those unique niches you're able to identify them and grab mons that, sure, they might not be as versatile of a tank as Ferrothorn. Sure, they might not be able to physically wall by like Melmetal. But if I'm trying to grab Melmetal as my physical tank, there's something like Registeel down, which is really not all that worse to fill that physical tank role. So I'm going to go for something that does a ton of damage reliably and consistently in matches.
Yeah, you're looking at something like Hoopa Unbound potentially.
Yeah, Hoopa Unbound. I think even though I'm not a huge fan of the mon, Blacephalon, lively. It's probably an upper middle, but still something that I know can definitely do damage in every game and that I can build around. Finally, we have the lowest part of the draft. If you are, bottom 5, bottom 8, let's say 20 to 28, what do you think you guys are going to go for at that point?
Go ahead, Trev. You're down there.
Yeah, so like I said, I definitely want to think about not just my current pick, but my coming pick and kind of think, okay, so I could, let's see what's on the board. Maybe there's some like lower end 180s and like some megas on there. Try to really grab some mons that synergize and, like let's say I'm looking at like getting a Melmetal at that point and I'm thinking about, okay, so Melmetal really wants to just be using Double Iron Bash a lot to just do damage, and things that could deal with that would be like Bulky Waters, Bulky Steels would be effective at handling that move. So try to think about, okay, what kinds of mons deal with water types and steel types. Water's weak to electric grass, steel weak to ground fire and fighting. So not really going to get one mon to cover both of those, but maybe try to think about handling one of those two things and then coming back around to the second one later, and maybe trying to get some kind of special attacker while I'm doing that, because Melmetal is really physical. So just have something for general physical bulk.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there, Trev. In the bottom half of the picks, you're looking for highly synergistic picks because you're picking so close together that you can sort of set your mind on specific cores. I think it's a lot easier to be drafting like a bulky core down there, because like Tim said, at the top you're going for really hard hitters or really versatile mons. In the middle you're going for like wall breakers or like just whatever the best mons left available are, and a lot of times the tanks do fall to later in the game. So if you're in the later stages and you can pick up like a nice tank core that complement each other really well, like I don't know, like Heatran and you wouldn't be able to get Heatran Bulu, but just like something that synergizes that well, you can pull that off later in the rounds, and maybe even set up like a Mega T-Tar Excadrill back to back if those make it that far.
Yeah, I mean, Harry took it right from me. I was thinking, again, on a late round, things like Heatran will be up. Heatran Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur having that thick fat ability is really nice, and it has weaknesses to pretty much only flying and psychic. These are both resisted by Heatran. Although Venusaur isn't a true Earthquake resist, you can kind of build it around. And both of these mons, like I said, where Harry had the idea of going tanky, I still would not go for straight up, quote unquote, tanks. You still want to look for something that have some type of offensive pressure like Heatran. But again, defensive cores. Defensive, like things that complement each other well defensively, that still have that firepower to kind of put you together. A lot of things you can do too. Again, like he said, you wouldn't be able to do Bulu Heatran, but you could do something like Bulu Toxapex or something like that. Whatever. Two things that go really, really nicely together, and two things that you can say, okay, like now I don't pick for another 60 turns, but I know what I need, and I can now fit 2 more mons to fit into what I want. So yeah, if you get a later pick, generally what you kind of want to do is look at 2 mons that really have good synergies. There are also 2 mons with offensive synergies that I was going to go for real quick. Let's say you get, I don't know, probably a good special attacker that suffers with steel, like a strong psychic type. Nothing's coming to my head right now. Like a Lati. You get one of the natural Latios. You're thinking, okay, so I have this, and you want to make a mon, or have a mon that now helps Lati do what it needs to do. So I'm thinking, okay, Lati, one of Latios' biggest troubles, although it does have Earthquake, doesn't deal with steel types very well. Doesn't have a fighting special, doesn't have a ground special, doesn't have... So if you want to run a Calm Mind Lati to win, if you run a different type of Lati, immediately I'm trying to think of, okay, what is something like Lati, a very good offensive mon, doesn't deal with steals too well? I'm going to grab Magnezone round 2. Now Magnezone with Magnet Pull is able to trap and eliminate those steals and make Latios' time better. So you don't always have to go with a purely defensive core. You can think about it in a way of like, okay, my offensive mon that I was able to grab at this 28th pick, what is something that my offensive mon doesn't deal with? Because again, those mons that will consistently deal with every single threat will go earlier. So you have to find, okay, my offensive mon, what does it struggle against? And what can I draft now to make it not struggle so hard against that type and help build my team? So it's something like, yeah, Mega Lottie on top of Magnezone. And again, you've already hit Fairy and Dragon and Steel, which is part of like a very common core, which is Fairy, Dragon, Steel. Yep. People in drafts always kind of either go Fairy, Dragon, Steel, or Firewood or Grass are three typings that just complement each other really, really well. It's something you should look at. But yeah, again, you can look at this from a very defensive lens, or you can look at it from an offensive lens. It's kind of just making sure you have two mons that super, super complement each other.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin there.
Exactly. All right, so next, this one is kind of my favorite segment, the one I was to most. We're going to call it Hidden Gems. The draft, by virtue of having however many Pokemon we do, has a lot of mons that, you know, are in the tiers they are, and everybody has the certain feelings about the ones they feel. But these mons we kind of talked to and we agreed on that go very, very underrated historically in our draft format. People do not realize just how good these things are. So we're going to call them Hidden Gems. We have a list. I guess, Harry, you could pick one from the list. We'll start from that, and we'll kind of go on for it. I put it in the Discord if you see, right under the screenshot. But yeah, we have about 6 mons that we think at the tier they're at have actually a ton of value, and people just kind of think they're there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to be pretty high on Chandelure. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get into Chandelure, because I would agree with you that it might just be a better version of Blacephalon, which is in our 180 tier. So, yeah.
So Ghost is a very unique typing in Pokemon, where it only has one thing that resists it, and it's immune. It's normal. Otherwise, Ghost is, or Dark too, sorry. But Ghost is the most unresisted type in the game. Although it only hits Ghost effectively, correct me, right? Super effectively?
Psychic.
Psychic. Okay, so it hits Ghost and Psychic, but nothing else resists it besides Dark and Normal, and no other type has that unique benefit to it. So Ghost having that is already one of the best offensive types in Pokemon. Adding on Fire, which is just generally really effective, it deals with Steel, which is the best defensive type. Chandelure has this very, very good offensive typing. The next thing on top of it is when you think about offensive typings, even it's a meme in Pokemon where fire fighting is the king of the offensive types. All the starters are firefighting. Firefighting's broken, blah, blah, blah. Like, even if you're a casual player, you might have heard about it. Chandelure is immune to both if you take the Flash Fire ability. Chandelure is used in a lot of different ways. It's used on Stall even because of the firefighting weaknesses of Steels. So if you can pair Chandelure with a Steel, that maybe like, again, something like the Skarmory that's immune to ground, you have a fire and fighting coverage. It has unique niches on defense and unique niches on offense. That's on top of the fact that when we talked about Blacephalon is an Ultra Beast. It's in the 180, and it's a very, very good wall breaker. Coming in, I think, like 152 special attack and like 103 speed.
Yeah, and it has that 150 base power Mind Blown thing that's really good with Z-Move.
Yeah, it's a good mon, and it deserves the tier it's at. But what you're actually looking at when you get this Blacephalon is unresisted stabs that do a ton of damage. And you look at it, Beast Boost, which is, again, a good ability, but it's contingent off getting kills. Where we've talked about mons that really like succeed in draft are things that are consistent, things that can do what they need to do in a consistent basis. And although Beast Boost is wonderful and it's a power fantasy to get Beast Boost, you know, not every match you're going to get it. Not every match they're going to let Blacephalon kill someone. Chandelure has a ton of different abilities that will be consistent. Again, Flash Fire, like we said, immune to fire types. Basing up, it's already very strong Fire Blast of a 145 special attack. That hurts. It has Infiltrator, really, really good ability because, again, it bypasses Substitute. A lot of people don't know it bypasses screens, so you can't set up screens against a Chandelure. It's an average Scarfer. The speed at 80 is like kind of nice. I like an 80 speed. It's faster than a lot of the really bulky, still slower than a lot of the really offensive mons. So you can use it in ways of like Trick Room. You can Scarf it. There's a lot of really good things about it. Also, too, again, not as good as the other two abilities. Flame Body is there. You can run a physically defensive Chandelure. It has things like Will-O-Wisp Heck. There are defensive sets that exist. It has even like Taunt Memento. Like it has like I think it can set its own Trick Room. It has a lot of different unique ways to get by its problems, and it doesn't really need a ton of coverage considering its stabs are so good. Now I'm looking at it again, Clear Smog, Haze. It just has a ton of little options, and it's really, genuinely, and this is a personal preference, it's better than Blacephalon. I would rather this mon over Blacephalon in almost every draft. Sometimes even on ladder, I will take Chandelure instead of Blacephalon, knowing that I can take two. Big fan of Chandelure. What else, guys? What do you guys see on this list that you kind of want to go into? Harry,
just as a disclaimer, what Tim means is he would take another 180 plus Chandelure instead of Blacephalon plus another 100.
Yeah. Harry, I know you talked about Serena. I know nothing about this mon. I know what rapid spins and high jumps kick, but I know a lot of people have been big fans of it.
Yeah, rapid spin with the plus speed now is really good on Serena because she kind of got like pigeonholed into being a Scarfer. I think she has an ability that makes her immune to priority moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Queenly Majesty.
Yeah, which can be good. She's a U-turner, as well as hazard removal with the rapid spin. She has Trop Kick, which is her signature move. It's a grass type.
Lowers attack?
It lowers the enemy's attack, yeah. While she also can run Power Whip for more stab. She has really high base attack. Let me pull her up here.
120.
Yeah, 120 base attack, which is pretty good in the 100 tier for a mon that's also giving you a decent amount of versatility and a pivot as well. And I realized, I don't know if this is true like last season or whatever, but a lot of seasons she just goes completely undrafted for the whole season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of people who have had her have been big fans. I've never had her, but nothing but glowing reviews to people who actually draft that mon. So it's on the list.
It's knockoff too. I'm looking at. I didn't know it got that. It's quite a good move.
I think it might get play rough as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, that's its coverage. Cool. Another one that I have here that I know Sam is a big fan of this, and I've kind of indoctrinated on him. Mandibuzz. Although it's sitting in the 120 tier, and it deserves to be in the 120 tier by logic of what people say, that mon is a 180. It is absolutely disgusting. Mandibuzz is just as good and just as applicable, again, personal opinion, as Corviknight, as Skarmory, as any of this stuff. So much like versatility and utility. Really, really good defensive stats. I think it's 100s across the board, even higher.
I think it's 105. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even slow. It has 80 speed. The dark typing is super useful now that it's first of all, it's immune to Psychic, which is nice. It's immune to Priority, which is nice.
Immune to Prankster.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Taunt, Knockoff, Foul Play, Roost, Toxic, U-Turn. Heavy Duty Boots made this thing an absolute nightmare now because it's not weak to hazards. And a lot of high-level players will say the same thing about Mandibuzz and Corviknight, where they're kind of just like, you build a team of really cool mons that you really like, and you go, oh shit, I lose to this Pokemon. I have trouble against, not Mandibuzz, but I have trouble against, I don't know, or Shifu. I have trouble against, this, or Latios. I have trouble against these mons. Oh no, I made a team that loses to this mon. You can throw Mandibuzz onto that team, and it solves that problem you have. Same thing as Corviknight, where like a lot of times Mandibuzz is just like, all right, yeah, my bad. I made a team that loses to this specific Pokemon. Let me just throw this one single mon on and generally fix the problem. They're super good glue. So if you want to kind of go a little bit more fun with your draft, if you want to just draft mons you like, things like Mandibuzz will make that draft possible because, okay, it stops Mega Charizard X from Dragon Dancing. Like, yeah, you just foul play it. Yeah, I can go on for that mon forever. An absolute beast of a mon.
It's got pretty good speed, too.
I never thought I'd hear someone say, if you want to have fun, draft Mandibuzz.
It's true.
Jesus Christ.
Again, Sam will push this to the end. It is absolute joy of a mon.
For a bulky mon, it's got really good speed. It's base 80.
Yeah, It's not bad.
So you could creep a lot of stuff with that.
I can go on for Mandibuzz for too long. So, Harry, you put this on here. Another mon I kind of understand, never really used. Infernape used to be a 180 in the older tiers.
Well,
Recently got pushed down.
It's not that Infernape never really got used. It's that he never really got used to his full potential because he has a lot of really cool sets. I've seen like Sash lead sets that are really cool, where like I think he can set rocks, right? Yeah, he can set rocks and run Endeavor and Mach Punch and whatnot, and he can be run physical, he can be run special. I think 180 was a little bit too high for him, and that's maybe why he wasn't getting picked, but it felt right to move him up there with how versatile and strong he was.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think now that he's down in 120, he's really going to get a chance to shine again, provided the right person drafts him and is able to use him.
One thing that I'm really interested about Infernape, and I think he's the only mon that occupies this, but I could be wrong, is not only does he have the dual sensing, he has dual fighting priorities in Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave, both on stab, with equal special and attack. So really, the dual priority is huge too, because having priority is just big in Pokemon. A long time ago, priority used to be pretty much the meta, especially when like more offensive teams kind of came in. Having the ability to go physical or special, even, you know, there are weird tank sets with like Will-O-Wisp, Stealth Rock. It's just good to have those stabs with you that hit hard. And, you know, again, consistency is what we can preach over and over again. Infernape will always be generally consistent just by virtue of having so many different sets to kind of bring into a match and see.
Tim, Urshifu has stabs of both typings for priority.
Well, fighting? That's what I'm talking about. Both fighting.
No, an Aquajet.
Well,
you mean specifically Vacuum Wave and Mach Punch.
Yeah, I just mean like dual stabs, same typing, but different types, or different types of damage.
Yeah, the only other mons who do that are like Lucario and Toxicroak have stab priorities for both sides. Or Toxicroak isn't stab, sucker, but...
Yeah.
It doesn't get Mach, right? Yeah, no, okay.
No, it gets sucker, which is, you know, a strong move.
Yeah.
So, another one, this one is contingent to me because I've almost wanted to put it in 120 since it came out, but we haven't, and I've always kind of looked at it like, do you deserve to be there? Obstagoon, new guy in Galar. He's in a 100. A lot of really unique abilities, interesting typing, good attacks. Don't know too much about it, but I know it does put a problem in on the UU ladder in Gen 8 in Galar, but kind of fast, kind of strong. Don't really know too much about it, but I know it does hit hard and it does work. So yeah, if you guys could speak more to it. I don't really know too much about Obstagoon.
I mean, I don't know too much about a lot of the newer mons, but I know Obstagoon has its signature move is Obstruct, which I think is a protect move that also lowers the opponent's defense.
If they make a contact move, so it's like a Baneful Bunker, King Shield, Spike Shield.
Yeah, which is cool. You can play around with that. And then, but I remember one of the problems with Obstagoon is that it didn't have like the stabs that you really wanted it to have, like Sucker Punch. I don't think it has access to Sucker Punch.
Nope.
And Extreme Speed, which is something that base Linoon has, but the Galarian versions do not have. I think it would be maybe even a 180 if it had both of those, because those would be really disgusting with its stats and with access to Belly Drum. I think it would just be really a gross mon.
And in the same vein as Conkeldurr, he has 3 very, very useful, reliable abilities, which is something that not a lot of mons have. Reckless. This Pokemon's with Recoil or Crash does 1.2 power. It doesn't count Struggle. With a stab, double edge coming off Reckless, it hurts, right? Guts, always a good ability. Guts Facade stab. I think we went through this. It might be the hardest hitting out of Guts. I don't remember this, but that might be true. And then Defiant, which is really good against like sticky web teams. It's good against people like punishing Defog, because since Defog lowers your evasion, you can go in on that. Get a free Swords Dance and go in. There's a lot of different ways you can run this. Again, like we said, Parting Shot is super nice. Haha. Switcheroo, which is basically just Trick. Taunt also learns Trick. So I don't know why those moves are both in the same game. Harry said Lash Out is a new move that I really haven't looked at. 2 times power if the user had a stat lowered. So you can come in and like lash out on a turn you get defogged and get base power
Just-
black dark stab. Yeah. I don't know,
Imagine a turn where you're getting your stats lowered. You have Defiant and you're using Lash Out. Oh my god!
You just
I
get
don't
four
think
times power for the opponent having the
Yeah,
audacity to think they could clear
to
rocks.
defog in
Yeah,
front
what
of you.
were
Yeah,
you
yeah.
thinking?
Yeah, it could be cool. I don't know. Haven't had them on. Seems good. I would like someone to use it real well this season. So this mon came across me today, the last one we have in our little hidden gems thing. We just kind of discussed it. Way back when tiering, Caesar regular stayed in pretty much the top of the 120 tier, and we kind of all were okay with it. And my argument of moving Caesar up to 180 is because Mega Caesar is just a better version of Caesar, but they still both occupy unique niches. Earlier we said Mega Caesar is the best Pokemon in the draft, and I said, yeah, Mega Caesar is just better Caesar, so like Caesar is still really good, and it's still worth the 180, and this was my argument. I was wrong. It's not just a better Caesar, because Caesar is better than Mega Caesar in a lot of ways. And this was kind of what I was finding out today, that in terms of overall achievable damage, regular Caesar with 20 less attack and an item will generally do more damage than Mega Caesar in a lot of situations. Had no idea. So I kind of pulled a couple calcs just to kind of push this as like, when you look at these two mons, again, this is new to me today, and I've kind of just found out that regular Caesar with items will generally be able to do more damage than Mega Caesar in games. I have a regular Caesar 100% guarantee knockouting a Mega Bomba Snow with Life Orb on a Bullet Punch. Mega Caesar does not guarantee that knockout. A Life Orb Caesar has 70% chance to Oko Tapu Bulu after rocks with a Life Orb. Mega Caesar will never do that. After a Swords Dance, a Mega Caesar will one-hit Blacephalon. Mega Caesar cannot do that, which is bad because, you know, Blacephalon can Oko Caesar right back. Mega Caesar loses to max defense unaware Clefable. Even at 252 Adamant, max defense unaware Clefable can beat it with a conjunction of Flamethrower or Wish Passing. Regular will be able to beat it with Banned, Life Orb, or even Iron Plate. I have a Banded Caesar will Oko Tyranitar after rocks. Mega Caesar isn't even close. And the big one, Mega T-Tar actually will avoid a Swords Danced Bullet Punch kill from Mega Caesar, but not regular Caesar if it has a Life Orb or an Iron Plate. It just does more damage. Yeah, or well, you can't do Swords Dance Choice Band, but yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it actually just is able to put out more damage than Mega Caesar. I didn't know this. Like, this is, again, completely new to me. So it's not just the same mon. If you're looking for a Caesar, you're a Mega Caesar, because again, one of the best mons, still does all the things that Mega Caesar can do light. They have the same move pool, the same typing, the same ability. It actually is able to put out more damage than Mega Caesar in almost every match. So, little fun, unique fact I found, that mon is actually a very, very good 180.
I can't wait for
I've always kind of looked at it. Yeah.
I can't wait for you to talk about this, and now Scizor goes top 10 picks, and I have to deal with that mon twice this season. Thanks a lot.
I mean, I can't blame Tim for not knowing that regular Caesar does actually usually do more damage than Mega Caesar with the flexibility of having an open item slot, because for a long time, but I think Season 8 is when it changed, when you drafted a Mega, you essentially could use the Mega or you could use the base form with any item you wanted. And that was something that we changed because I think Tim decided that the Megas were like mons on their own. And if you draft a Mega, you should be pigeonholed into just using that Mega instead of having basically like mons like Slowbro, like Mega Slowbro, like base Slowbro is probably better than Mega Slowbro. So a lot of times, like you would just have two Slowbros in the league, you know.
Garchomp, same situation. The Latios could be used without Mega items. There were a lot of Megas that, like, if you just didn't get the regular version, you would go, okay, fine, Mega the entire season, and it's like, that doesn't seem right. So yeah, it used to be where you were not limited to the Mega Stone, and there were a lot of games where, like, I remember specifically Harry beat Ryan Azzolini with a Scarf Latios, and he was like, hey, wait.
Mega Latios, baby. I couldn't get my hands on regular Latios, so you know it had to be done. I had to run regular Mega Latios every game.
Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what we were kind of discussing, where Caesar actually much better than I thought. I'm kind of looking at it. Who knows?
It's really
cool.
good. It's really good one.
Those are our hidden gems. now for my favorite, the just absolutely baited mons.
I thought
These
the
mons-
gems were your favorite though, and I thought the segment before
Well, this
that was
whole-
your
this
favorite.
whole thing, but
I
I
thought
like
the segment
shitting on-
before that was your favorite.
Nah, I don't know. I like
Save
I
it
like
for
it
the
all
parting
here,
shot, Trevor. We know who you're
Yeah.
attacking this week.
All right, so these mons, I think, are entirely overrated. People complain about them, they talk about them, they think they're great. Stand up in my mind. I really just think they're kind of trashed. We'll start kind of with an extension to the last one because it's on the list. Blacephalon. Just not impressive. It's not that fast. Its speed is just slow enough to kind of. I think it's. I want to say 107 or 103. It's 107. So yeah, it's like it doesn't hit that 110 speed tier. Kind of sucks. Weak to rocks. Already coming in on rocks is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
In order to be super consistent, it relies on Beast Boost, which again, like I said, you won't get every game. What else? There's a lot of things. Priorities hit it hard because it is so squishy.
So frail.
It hits hard, sure, not as hard as some other mons, but yeah, it has good typing. Like it's not a terrible mon. It deserves to be 180. But I think people look at Blacephalon on like the tier with the rest of the Ultra Beasts that are you see in 180. I think Kartana is significantly better. I even think Celesteela is pretty much significantly better. I'm not a big fan of Steela. I think like when you look at Blacephalon, you're naturally you're going to think it's so good because of its typing, because of its stats. But then when you actually kind of get down to it, it doesn't have coverage aside from Psychic, which it doesn't need. I know it has like Sub and Calm Mind, but that's just about it. There's like 2 sets you can run, which it's either going to be Choiced or Sub Z move.
Yeah, like
Hey, maybe you run Boots now.
Yeah, maybe.
When a mon has to start running Z Hypnosis to try to do something, like, I don't know, it's pretty bad.
Uh-oh, spoilers.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's another one, but yeah. I just think you look at Blacephalon and you're like immediately like trained to think this mon is really good because it's an Ultra Beast, because it can do that Ultra Beast thing of just get a boost and win the game. But at the end of the day, really just not impressive. Just I don't know. I just really have like I'm like if you have played in the league for more than one season, you know that I play the most balls to the wall type offense gameplay ever. Blacephalon should fit exactly what I'm looking for in a mon, and I don't think I'll ever end up with it. And if I do, it's for a week or two for trade value. Not a big fan. Next, we'll stay in the 180 tier. This mon, it's kind of no point because the same person drafts it every single season. But Landorus Therian is not the same thing in draft as it is on ladder, and I'm tired of people looking at it like it is. Ladder is a different beast than draft, and Landorus Therian is not the same mon that it is in ladder in draft. It has that versatility that you want. Cool. It has a decent typing. It has a lot of resistances. Cool. But it is just not doing the same effective, consistent shit that you see on ladder every single time, especially in Gen 7 when it was like 34% usage or something nuts. It's just not the same. And I'm sure these guys can speak to it too. Any 4 times weakness is already kind of a risk in drafts because people just run a hidden power. And cool, it's dealt with. You know what I mean? When they can see it coming and they know it's coming and you have ways to deal with it, it's not that fast. It's not that bulky. It's pretty hard, and I'll give it that. Intimidate's a good ability. I'll give it that. I don't think it's a bad mod.
Not anymore.
Yeah. I don't think it's like terrible. I don't think it doesn't deserve 180. I don't think it's in the bottom of the 180 tier. I think it's a mid-tier 180. But I think people look at Landorus as if it's worth this top 10 pick, and it's all right.
Yeah, I would agree. And I don't necessarily think that it's I don't think the draft format is really what's holding it back, because it's had this 4 times weakness and still sat on top of OU in like every single OU team. Like you knew you were playing against Lando. You definitely bring ice for it. I think it's more its lack of good flying stabs that have really like cucked it as more mons have been introduced, and like having to run a Z move to get Z fly, it's just not that good. And the new mons have really kind of suppressed its place at the top of the meta.
One of the other things about Landorus that like its role in OU was very similar to the role that I was talking about Amanda Bud and Corviknight, where they're very good at enabling their teammates to be effective. Manabuzz and Corviknight have this thing where, like, again, you can put it in and like the Intimidate into U-turn, Stealth Rocks, Defog. They help their team do what they need to do and kind of deal with issues. The only issue with that is you don't want to spend your super high round pick in order to get a Mon that is going to help your other Mons if you already have that high pick. You know, you want something that's going to be strong. It's kind of like you're like planning for the future but not having a future to plan for.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good Mon, and it deserves to be. But it's just, people look at it as if it's like top tier, top 10. I could see it going top 15, and I'm okay with it. But it's really just not what people think it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Next, Xurkitree. The me and Harry both unanimously agree on this thing. This thing is just really bad.
Imagine a slower Blacephalon.
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
I'll start, I'll first start off cool. 173 special attack is dope. That's a cool stat. That hits hard.
That's where the pluses stop.
It has 2 bad coverage moves in Energy Ball and Dazzling Gleam.
It has Signal Beam, hey. Grass types.
Three bad coverage moves. The next best move it gets is like, there's Tail Glow, but you're not bulky enough or fast enough to warrant it. Harry said and the only way you do that is Z Hypnosis, which is like a 50% chance to hit.
60.
Z Hypnosis, 2 for 2 on overrated.
Yeah, I wish it was good because it has a cool line, and again, one special attack is a dope stat. But by virtue of that stat being so far off one end of the outlier, makes all the others bad. Doesn't have coverage, doesn't have the ability to just do whatever you need it. My friend Matt had it. I think I actually did just solo lose to this Mon because he hit Z Hypnosis like season 8. It can do stuff, but again, we talk about consistency. We talk about when you draft, you want Mons that will consistently do at least okay. This thing has the potential of just being absolutely beyond useless.
Hold on, can I offer a ray of hope for Xurkitree?
Yeah.
A lot of new good Mons have access to Sticky Web now. That's the only place Xurkitree fits, is in a Sticky Web team. So if you want to go that way, could be your best bet for a special wall breaker.
Yeah, it can also Z Rain Dance to try to get that speed boost, and then start clicking Thunder. So it's something, It's I wouldn't say you're running that. If you're running that every week and you're saying this is a 120, I mean, I don't know about that, but once or twice.
Is like, wait till you see my Z Rain Dance.
Yeah, for real. Wait until I break out my gimmick instead of having like actually good sets.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan. We're just gonna keep shooting at Brady. This Mon I had for a season. It's cool. Again, it has a unique little gimmick to it. I wanted it to be good because it looks really cool, but Zoroark is just doesn't do what it needs to do, man. It's never done enough damage. There's not enough sets for it. The Imposter's cool, but like, what do you really get from it besides like, it wasn't Zoroark? I wanted it to be good because like it is so cool. It has a nice stab in Night Days, which is kind of cool. Like,
and it looks cool.
Yeah, you just like, you want it to be something that like, this thing fucking slaps.
My problem with Zoroark is to get the benefit of its ability, you kind of have to structure your team specifically around being dark or being weak to psychic types and using Zoroark to bait them. And it just makes your team so bad. Yeah. Your whole team's weak to psychic, and you just throw Zoroark out disguised as one of them and set up, and maybe you kill something.
Yeah, because it's not fast enough to like really kill after a nasty plot at 1.5. Oh man, I did use it to like some success with like Memento and Sucker Punch, and there's some like weird shit you can do, but like, man, just don't draft this. It's just, I wish.
I'll smile.
They've got to give him they've got to give him a hidden ability, and it's got to be a cool one, and then let him start doing.
But then he loses Imposter.
No, that's just his normal ability. Like he won't be forced to run it, but he'll still have it.
Okay. I got you.
Give him
All right,
like
we got two more.
give him adaptability or something.
Yeah. We got two more. One is more of my personal thing. One we have literally written in caps because holy shit, this mon is garbage. But we'll stay second to last, Melmetal. One of those things that, yeah, it's good. It's very, very good. People are talking about it getting banned. It's not there. Yeah, the stats are wonderful on this thing. The 140, 140, 140, cool.
Very nice.
But yeah, but the 34 speed is laughably awful. I think it lacks. I think it's rock coverage, which is the issue for it because it's walled by a lot of like flying types. Like I know what's this mon? Volcarona. Literally 1v9s this mon. The game's over if you get Volcarona in on Melmetal. Moltres can pretty much just shit on this mon. The lacking of rock coverage makes it really, really bad. It doesn't have a setup move. Yeah, it's kind of nice in terrain or in Trick Room.
Doesn't it get Rock Slide?
It does.
No,
it does. Yeah.
Rock Slide? Oh, then what is the coverage I'm thinking of that it's missing?
All right, well, ban Melmetal.
No, there's a coverage it's missing that makes it not that great. I forgot which one it is. Maybe
no,
it's,
I believe you. I'm not exactly sure what it would be, but
yeah, I've just been again. It's slow as shit. Yeah, and
but
also
I mean,
Rock
like,
Slide.
Rock Slide's still like it's 75. Thunder Punch is 75. Like it has these coverage moves, but they're not like crazy. Like you're not clicking Thunderbolt or Ice Beam where it's like at 90s. EQ is only like I'd consider strong coverage move, and like Body Press.
It misses.
It does get access to Ice Beam, so.
I was about to say, Grass is another coverage it misses unless you're running Z Beam. Bulky Water is a big thing. It's there a lot, and if they're not immediately weak to Electric, it also struggles with Bulky Waters. Like Quagsire beats Melmetal.
Yeah, I was gonna say Swampert. It seems like it probably just hardwalls it.
Yeah. Not having grass coverage, not having the ability, also kind of sucks. It's a good mon. Again, one of those things that I say can go 10 to 20. But it's not bannable. And being 34 speed is so punishable. Like things like, Jolteon can beat this reliably with like 2-volt switches as long as you have a switch in. Again, like I said, Quagsire 1v1's Melmetal with a defensive set. There's Swampert, like Harry said. There's just a lot of things that make this thing invalid. It's again super cool, super worth a pick. But again, we're just talking about things that are overrated. Melmetal, right under where it needs to be. Physical Corviknight, same thing. Banded Melmetal Thunder Punch does I think 47% max. So you could even just run Rocky Helmet into that and still beat it. It just doesn't have the damage it needs to really go through. Cool mon though. Recommend Melmetal to anybody who wants to try it, but it's not bannable. It's not top of the list.
Anybody
it's just
that
good.
wants to click bash every turn.
Yeah, just see what dies.
No, Banded Thunder Punch is doing min 60 to full Fizz Def Corv.
Is Banded? Okay, so maybe it's not. Then regular does, I think.
Yeah.
Min. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Final mon. God, this thing is awful. Zarud, the new guy.
Yikes.
Don't draft this.
Yeah, it just takes
like
shit
it should. Yeah. It looks like it should be good. It's a legendary. The stats are okay. It's a all right design. God, is it so bad? It's just not. You're always going to be like, man, that didn't do what I wanted it to. The typing is awful. The speed is not that great. The bulk is not that great. It doesn't have a lot of options to switch to. You'll be running pretty much Power Whip, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Taunt. Or Jungle Healing, which is bad. Like, this mon is just literally just almost
trash.
Not worth a pick. Like, I don't. If this goes drafted, like, you just like the way it looks.
Yeah, and it looks like it looks like what I would imagine the Chupacabra looks like. It's really ugly.
He's bad and ugly.
I mean, you could spend 40 points on Cacturn if you really want. At least it has Ingrain.
Yeah, don't go at Cacturn. Cacturn's nuts. It has at least Cacturn can dual boost and has decent stabs on both sides. Yeah.
I'd rather spend much less points on Cacturn if that's what I want at Grass Dark type.
Yeah,
4 times week to U-turn.
Whew, man, that mon is just Yeah, it's it's cool. It'll do damage sometimes. You'll hit some pretty big power whips if you get it in on anything that's not steel or bug or flying.
That mon's claim to fame is being released close to Urshifu. So
yeah,
that's how that'll be remembered.
Yeah, it's really, really underwhelming. I thought it was going to be the better of the two between Urshifu and Zarude when it came out, because it looked like it had like that whole, like, I don't know, maybe if they gave it Swords Dance, it would be okay. But no, they really just said, hey, I want this mon to do absolute and useless ability too. What's its ability?
Leaf Guard.
Leaf Guard. Cool.
Is it like Sun Hydration? I don't even remember what that does.
I think it raises your defense in Sun.
No way. That's so. Cannot be statused and rest will fail. Yeah, it's just Sun Hydration.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Can't get wisped on your Sun team that probably has multiple fire types to switch into it.
I mean, the good news is if Sunny Day's up, it can't rest itself. So.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Yeah. So just don't get that right. All right. Cool. I wanted to do this last week, and I cut it because we didn't have time. We don't have time again, but I do want to get it done. So we'll do it anyway. Dark horses. This is kind of what we've been talking about in the league. Kind of tip our hat to players that are either new or haven't been successful, or maybe are on the precipice of success that we think are the dark horses this year. The ones that we think are going to kind of step their game up and actually be like a legitimate contender in playoffs, able to take games, maybe even, take somebody like me, Chris, Harry, Trevor out of playoffs, like win these games and do well. Like I think these players have kind of consistently been all right. And I think like as long as they, do their shit, as long as they play their games and try to get better, they can actually be a real problem in the league and like kind of join this upper tier that's existed for a long time of players that are like consistently ending in playoffs. Again, like for so many seasons. I mean, it's the joke by now that me and Chris are in finals every year. Harry probably could have been or would have been if he stayed in, because I think he lost to Chris in a very close game at the end of season 9.
I threw so hard. I had him beat too, and I threw.
But it's been consistent where like, you get the same, like Armand will be up there, JP will be up there. We have 5 new names that we've kind of modicumly discussed of we think are like kind of this new class, these new years of like the later end. And of course, I can't go out without kind of nodding to Trevor, although he's new to our league. He's not new to, he's in there. He's good for us, but like, yeah, but we're talking about kids that have been in the league for a little while and kind of are going to start breaking their way through. So I'll start first. Trevor. My friend Trevor.
Not this one.
Not this one. Other Trevor. Tremblay. He started Pokemon competitively last season blind. He didn't know most of the typings, didn't know what any of the moves done, didn't know anything really. And he's been like, he's a very what's the word? I guess studious or like consistent guy where he wants to get better. And like, holy shit, it's night and day. Even from a year to now to today, he's like now like competitive. Like I think he could take matches off me in the right situation. Like I'm excited to see how well he does. I really am. And I think he's like understanding the game, and like I think he's actually going to be really, really competitive and take games by surprise. I think he's just like, he's up there, and I've been more and more impressed with how I see him play and starting to understand things. We'll play together sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, I think this is the right play, and he'll be like, oh, I don't know, like maybe if it's better we do this here because this happens, and I'm like, shit, damn, you're right, like my bad. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think
Trevor,
like, yeah, problem.
For the new players coming in, Trevor's a good example of like me and Tim personally taught Trevor a lot because we knew him before he joined and we actually encouraged him to join. So do take advantage of the veteran players. Well, don't take advantage of us, but use us as a resource. Like run sets by us, ask us for advice on like our mindset for prepping our teams, like what we look for on the opponent's team, what we look for on our teams, just to see what our mindset is. I learned a lot from Chris, George, and JP when I first joined the league, I think in season 4, season 5, something like that. So do take advantage of there being so many veteran players that are still around and playing in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, perfect example. He came in, knew absolutely nothing. My favorite memory is like, I think it was game 3 last season. Somebody had foul play against him. He came in, set up a swords dance, died to foul play, came in, set up a swords dance, died to foul play, and then came in and set up a third swords dance and died to foul play and was like, what the fuck? Like,
Amazing.
what the keep
Amazing.
happening? Yeah.
Can we show that replay after the stream?
Yeah, we'll see if I can find it somewhere and post.
I'll put it on stream. I'll put it on stream once we're done
That's
talking.
what I mean. Like once we're finished, like just play that.
Yeah,
I'll get rid of your face cam, Harry, because that's where it goes. But
yeah. But
That's
yeah,
fine.
so like coming from there to where he is now is good for him. Next, kind of the same situation, kind of mentored by new players, came in. Always been a league favorite, and is always kind of the same thing. Been the underdog, been the guy that's almost there. David came from absolutely nowhere. He was kind of friends with Armand, said, hey, I'll come in. Played a mono dark team, and everyone, like, at that point, mono teams kind of had this reputation of the league of just that one idiot troll who just plays at the bottom of the league, doesn't play their games, and, like, just kind of lose. Like, Kogulan Kugels was our last guy who did mono, and I think he went 1-22 on mono grass, and, like, it's just like the mono team was the joke of the league. And then we started, like, playing, and he was like, wait, why aren't these mono dark games easy? You know what I mean? Like, what do I feel like I almost lost? You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, this guy's not good. This guy's not bad. And then last season he came in and he started off slow and then like kind of went on a win streak. And then he had that huge upset against JP in playoffs where it was probably the best game of the season. And again, he won the Summer League with Armand, kind of. They did lose, but like they won. And now he's here. And I think here David is like going to be the next big thing. Like again, kind of just came in, has slowly gotten better, slowly gotten more consistent. The only way I'm kind of unsure about this is again, he has pretty much used Libero Cinderace since the beginning and now that's banned. So I'd like to see him something with a little different and see if he really has gotten better. But yeah, I think
time to go back to mono dark with Zarude. It's his year.
I think David is absolutely the real deal. I'm going to save the one that you know he's going to pop off. We'll go to Trey here. I don't think Trey is going to be a big playoff contender, like I said at the start of this thing this year. But Trey is going to have an all-right season. I think Trey has gotten better. I think Trey is kind of starting to understand. I think he's dedicated to getting better. I've seen a little bit more. I've seen him kind of get into it. He's asking questions, learning. I'd like to see Trey perform. So, yeah, I think Trey is going to be somebody who's like, again, someone who was sort of kind of a throwaway game in earlier seasons. I think he can threaten this season. I think he can, maybe take some games off, maybe kind of make improvement. And who knows?
Would you say maybe upset someone in round one of playoffs?
If it happens, I wouldn't be too surprised. I could see Trey getting somewhere. I'm really, really enthusiastic to see what happens. Second to last, this one is like kind of weird because it's not like he's ever been really bad, not like he's ever been really kind of under the radar, but last season he didn't really play his games. He went through his own stuff, whatever, but he was like right at that line before the season 9 and kind of took season 10 off from playing and didn't play as much. But I think Luke is like a problem. I think Luke is getting very, very good.
Luke's
I don't know. Yeah, he took a year off. He's the only person that's beat Chris Jorg more than Chris Jorg has beaten him. That's a thing, which is. But yeah, he's consistent and he performs well, and I think he is literally the only UCL participant ever to have a winning record versus Chris Jorg. Currently, he's good. He's a good kid. Like he plays well. I'm excited to see where he gets. I hope he actually really, really performs this year. He was getting very, very good at the end of season 9. He had a very good season 8. I think he was like top 8. I think, I hope this is me personally, because I also like him as a kid. I hope he performs. I hope he goes well. And I hate this last one, and I almost don't want to say it because I know
we can skip the last one. It's fine. We got enough dark horses.
The king is back, man. Alex Grimes. I think he's going to go well this season. I think he goes big. He's trying more. He's learning more. Last season he took very seriously. He's done drafting the meme teams. He's like kind of serious about getting better. God, I hope he doesn't see this. Just no one tell him to watch the VOD. But I'm excited for Alex Grimes. I think this is like his not 8th seed year. He was on a streak last season at some point and kind of fell down at the end. But I think Alex Grimes has potential. I think this might be the one, guys. But
hey, I mean, if this is the year that no one preps for the same Suicune set every week, then yeah, I'm down. I'm on the hype train. Long live the king.
Long live the king. I hate it. I hope no one show him this VOD, please. But yeah. Final session, and then we'll just do the same thing. We have the this or that. If you watch League, if you watch that, it's kind of just we offer. I'm gonna ask a question to these guys, kind of asking them to compare two things, and this or that. Would you rather do this or that? Have this or that? Whatever. First one. Let me scroll up to that. Would you rather draft Ash Greninja or Protean Greninja?
Go in, Trev. It's your time.
Oh, I gotta think for a sec because I've been looking for this replay for so long. Ash Greninja or Protean? I think I gotta say Ash. I know
Okay.
Protean has that diversity aspect where it can really just run so many different sets. And we were talking about earlier, like the problems with Mons being contingent on certain circumstances to get their power going off, like Blacephalon and Xurkitree with the Beast Boost. Sometimes you just don't get it. Sometimes you just won't get your Ash form. But I think even if you're not getting your Ash form, unlike the two of them, you can still be able to assert a lot of pressure, because if Mons are getting chipped and they're too afraid to stay in and to get hit by a Hydro and let you get your Ash, you can just get spikes all over the place. You can U-turn out on things. I don't think Ash form can Z-Celebrate. I think that's only Protean that can do that. So
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like you're in a position to say this because you had Torrent last season, which is essentially an unsuccessful Ash Greninja. So
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Harry,
Although it does hit harder when it's low.
Yeah. Ash or Protean?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, I think Trevor nailed the upside of Ash Greninja. It's essentially a good version of what Blacephalon and Xurkitree wish they were.
Yeah.
So, but there's really no wrong answer here. So it comes down to preference. Do you want like a super insane wall breaker? I'm someone that more favors versatility. I think flexibility is like the most important thing in a league like this, where people can see your team and prep for you. Having a multitude of sets, I think, is very important. You can run Protean Greninja physical, special, setter, pivot, just like hard pivot every time.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I would choose Protean.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, good.
I want to remind you that Ash Greninja has 142 attack for Waterfall, so better watch out for physical Ashgren.
It's not
Power
not
Up
nothing.
Punch? Hey, just saying.
Stab
Rock-
U-turn,
Rock
stab U-turn.
Slide, Rock Slide, Shadow Sneak, also in that set.
Yeah.
So I don't know off my head which one I would draft. But that being said, what I will say is when I've helped people build teams, when people who had the dual Greninja come to me and say, hey, help me build for this week or show me this, generally when I was building, very rarely did I actually put Protean Greninja on the roster. Never didn't happen, but more so I found myself leaning towards like, oh, Ash Greninja can win condition here. Ash Greninja can be successful. That being said, yeah, I would say I would probably draft Ash Greninja just from my logic of playing teams and seeing like which one would I prefer in this situation. When you have the choice, I generally went with Ash Greninja, but drafting, it feels different because I feel like having known what I'm drafting around, I might have been able to draft a more Protean Greninja team. So I don't know. I'm gonna say Ash Greninja, but it's, again, like Harry said, it's a matter of preference.
And I think that's a little different because, like Harry was saying, that Protean Gren has the diversity in spades. And in the past, Ashgren kind of had that diversity by virtue of being the same Pokemon. So the opponent, they had to prep for everything Protean could do. Like let's say, just arbitrarily, the 5 Protean sets and the 1 Ashgren set. Let's say 2 Ashgren sets versus just the 2 or the 5. So it's definitely Ashgren just purely in the prep phase is hurt more by the split. But
yeah, what you just said was my main argument for splitting or banning them all together.
Yeah. All right, we have the next one. This, that, or the other thing. Lele, Bulu, or Coco? Who is the best Tapu? And don't ask about Finny. It's not even close.
Shoot, I gotta think.
It's actually Feeny. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's a 120. Hey, good value. It's definitely, you don't have to spend your 180 slot on it.
It's not a bad value. Not a bad value, but
strongest,
really...
maybe not. Best for value? Ooh, might be.
I mean, these are very different Mons. but
Yeah.
if I want to be consistent with my own belief system, I'm leaning towards Coco because it's the most flexible of the three. It can run physical or special, hard pivot. It can run scarf, specs, screens. Yeah, like it's the most versatile of the three, even though the other two are like, it's kind of the same as Ashgren, Purdy, and Gren.
More
where,
defined,
like, more defined and like stronger in that one role than Coco is in any of its roles.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that, Harry, because I already know what Tim's answer is.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said Coco. So Tim, what is it, and why do you think it's a
hot take? Tapu Bulu, the boy. Here's the thing that I really, really appreciate about the other two. Coco, I think, out of the three, has the worst of the terrain. I think electric terrain, not putting people to sleep, cool. It's kind of, which makes it to me, psychic terrain, stopping priority, and grassy terrain, giving everyone healing, are already better abilities.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
And neutering Earthquake for your heat train.
Well, I was about to say.
And Bulldoze, I think, too, gets hit. And Magnitude.
Bulldoze and Magnitude.
For how much
no.
that matters, of course.
What if it's Magnitude 9? But anyway.
What if it's Magnitude 10? What if I just run high horsepower?
Guys, I'm sweating now. Relax with the magnitudes.
But yeah, so you put it between Lele and Bulu, and then Blue Rain, cutting Earthquake. So on pure team supporting alone, I think Bulu's better than Lele. Lele, although has definitely, not even definitely, can put out more power with these like high-powered fairy and psychic stabs. Bulu got play rough. Jesus Christ, did he need that?
Crazy.
Ooh, now actually,
Coco got it all. Coco also got it.
I said, the rule was showdown as legal in showdown. So if you can't pull up play rough on the showdown builder, it's not going to be legal.
It'll come later in the season anyway.
Maybe.
He also has the highest hitting consistent stab, because I know Coco kind of ties it with Thunder, but Woodhammer in Grassy Terrain off that stat, whew. Again, he can run Scarf, Band, Life Orb, Swords Dance, it can bulk up, it can subseed, it can screen, it can run Special Calm Mind. It just has so many different options. Supports the team really well. Consistent performance, has both fighting and rock coverage, which are two things it needs. Again, seed synthesis, it's the boy, man. I love Bulu.
I do,
and that typing is super nice.
Yeah, I do think Bulu is probably the best mon you could draft if you're looking to go bulky offense. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, like I said, the whole cutting Earthquake in half makes mons like Heatran, Toxapex, all these things that have like kind of a weakness, almost uncheckable as long as Bulu's on the field, as long as Bulu's unplayable. And like Jamie's had it a lot, because I remember I used to be the guy who drafted Bulu every single season. Jamie joined the league and I was like, hey man, try Bulu, you'll love it. And he did, and he loved it. The only reason maybe Bulu's not that great is now with the introduction of Rillaboom. He's like not as unique as he is. You can make arguments for having knockoff and Grassy Glide, but I still think Bulu is just definitely the best. I put Lele at a very, very close second, but for me, if I'm drafting, first of them. Trevor, what do you got?
I think Lele is the best, so I'm going to go with the last one.
Whoa.
I think Lele is the best Tapu, just having like you said, those really strong stabs, and unlike Coco and Bulu, it has like nice, strong, no drawback stabs. So like Coco Wild Charge or Thunder, Bulu's got the Woodhammer, but you could just keep clicking Psychic and Moonblast against a team, and you can just keep going for it over and over.
Hornleech.
But Hornleech is only 75 base power, Tim. Psychic, boosted by the terrain, blowing things up. If you want to talk about well, never mind.
The other thing too about Lele, which is nice, and I'll give it to why I also put it, Lele is the only one whose stabs complement each other. While Fairy Electric is nice, Grass Fairy is nice, having Psychic Fairy allows you to beat those dark types that check your Psychic stab. So those just complement each other very, very nice. Feeny, who cares? Don't care. This or that, would you rather have the first pick of the draft or the last?
I would probably go for the first pick. I'm pretty confident in my ability to navigate having such a long time between picks and adjust my plan on the fly. So I'm pretty okay just taking whatever I deem is the strongest mon with the first overall pick and then moving forward with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor?
So for those of you who don't know, in our league, you have to take your 6 dedicated tier slots before you can go to your free slots. Not every league runs that way. So some leagues, you can draft your Mega and then draft your 180 and then get another 180 and then get another 180 and then start going into your 120, 100, 60, 40. And in that kind of league, the last pick is like really powerful because of just how many powerhouses you can just load up on immediately. In this league, where you're more limited and restricted in your ability to just draft power early, I think I'd have to agree with Harry and say first pick. I think, in addition to everything he said about it, the ability to go first in round 7 when we open up the free picks and you can look at what 180s are left on the board or even 120s and try to figure out what the strongest pick that fits in your team there. I think that's really valuable. And I think the only drawback of the 180 pick is if you're not confident in your ability to either make 2 picks really far away at the start, or if you don't think you're capable of discerning what the strongest mon in the format is, or you don't think, even if you do know what it is, you don't think it meshes with your playstyle, or you just don't want to play it. Like, let's say
there's value to it.
Yeah, like let's say I just really like my first pick, I want to grab like a Raikou. That's not a first pick mon. So if I'm first pick, I'm just taking all the benefits and just throwing them out the window and keeping everything that's bad about it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure where you were going with that. I was like, you're gonna take Raikou, huh?
I'm gonna be a little contrarian here. I think the last pick is better. Just because, like again, the way I play and the way people see me play, I play a high more carrying mons. I tried a little bit different last season with kind of going like towards Coco Swampert, not like super high power rather than having like a little bit off. But I mean, I did Mega Zam, Lele, Kieran B. It was Bulu, Mawile, something else the season before. I like kind of just front stacking the roster and playing around strong mons. But having seen enough and kind of continuously going through this, sadly, you can't draft around one mon, especially. Yeah, it'll work for me where you put out these like massive regular season records, just absolutely dominate players that are just not as good as you. But once you get into players who know how to play the game and can identify, this is going to be his threat, man. Once, again, Jorg is a good example. Once I had to go against like just people who understood like, okay, this guy, like last season, this guy's going to try to win through Magirna. This guy's going to try to wall break with Kieran Black and go into Zam. Lucha was the same thing. Yeah, he's going to try to put in Lucha late. I just can't allow Lucha in late and whatever. It feels good. It feels really, really good to have strong power, especially through regular season, because you probably can make playoffs if you play it well. But once you get into this end level, this finals, the semifinals, players who know how to, see your team, identify threats and what to win, you want a more varied roster and Pokemon that support each other. Where do you find that? With synergies in the later parts of the round. Back-to-back picks at the end of one, every single mon you're going to draft in round 1 is good. Then you get the first start of round 2. Then you get a little break to say, okay, what do these 2 need? And I can draft now 2 mons that perfectly fit that. So I would say I would prefer the last pick just to really, really guarantee a strong synergy on the top, a strong synergy on the middle. And again, that late open round is, although it's at the end of the open round, it's back-to-back on opens. So again, you hit, 28 and 29 on opens. I would prefer the last pick. Okay. Cool. And this one Trevor put in there, I thought it was funny. Would you rather win 1 championship and never make playoffs again, or consistently be a playoffs winner, but never win a championship?
Well, I think I know Tim's answer. I think Tim is living his dream right now.
I just want to win 1, guys. Just give me 1.
Yeah,
I'll be done for the year.
Yeah, I think I would rather just take a championship. I think I could have the last season I played, and I kind of choked away my free win against Chris George in semis. I think my team matched up really well with Tim in finals. But Tim messaged me. He said, please, you have to let Chris George beat my ass in
Just
finals
throw.
again. Please, Harry, throw the game. So I had to. I'm a good friend.
Just please.
I'll take a
play Stone Age.
championship, and then I can leave forever.
Trevor, what do you think?
I think I'd rather the consistency of making playoffs every time, but not taking a championship. Because I feel like if I come in season 11 and I take the whole thing, and then season 12, season 13, season 14, I just never make playoffs again, I'll just
Ashley.
like I would just be so angry at myself every season. It's not even that like it's not that I can't win again. It's not that I won. It's not that I took one final and then I'm number 2 every time. I took one final and now I can't even make playoffs. What happened? Where did I go? What happened to it?
Tim, listen, you already flamethrowered Galen last week. Relax.
And I would just be so angry with myself versus if I'm always making playoffs. I mean, it's like it's just there and you can't reach it, but at least like I can accept at the end of the day that someone is just better than me. And if I'm not winning finals because someone is just better than me, I know that at least I'm not going backwards. My skill's not degrading. I'm at least keeping up with where I am.
But Trev, the key is you win the championship and then you never play in the league again. And you live a happy life.
Or you just say you.
But I want to stick around for a little bit. At least.
Yeah.
I want to be here for a bit. So.
Oh yeah, we want you to be here for a while.
The last segment, guys, and a very good one. We got Flamethrower. I will start. I know he's gonna watch the VOD. He said he would. Brian D. Why'd you leave the league, man? You afraid? Beat you in playoffs every year, and now you're not coming. Uh-oh. I don't know. I just think season 9 ended Brian's playoffs. Season 8 ended Brian's playoffs. I think it was season 10 too. Was it? No. Okay. But Brian, what are you afraid of, buddy? What do you got, Harry?
My flamethrower, and I really hope this guy watches the VOD. My flamethrower is for Tim Puglio. For saying he won't draft Urshifu. If you draft Urshifu, holy shit, I will never let you live it down. I'm coming for you. You're a dead man.
Ooh, I wonder what'll happen there. And Trevor, your flamethrower.
I just gotta say it, man. You're not top 4. Sam, you've just.
Oh.
There's no argument. There's no logic. Top 4. Getting on my nerves, man. Put up. Put up or shut up.
Big bomb. Sam, you know what that means. You gotta make semis. All right. There it is. Parting shot. Any last words, guys, before we sign off for the night?
Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun. I feel like I kind of talked over people, rambled a little bit like I am now, but thanks anyway.
Point of
it was fun.
Trevor, anything from you?
I mean, hey, thanks for watching, guys. I like doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like
thanks
the
for
support.
coming. Week 2. We had a couple viewers, maybe a little less than. What's up?
Sorry, one more thing. I've had a couple people, mostly like 4 or 5 people in the top like 10 have already asked for my advice in the draft. If you're someone that is having trouble prepping, if you're someone that can't make the draft, like just shoot me a DM on Discord. Like I'm pretty open to help people draft. I've drafted like 5 to 7 teams in previous drafts, so it's not a hard thing for me.
Yeah, we want to see.
I'm available.
This is like kind of still a flamethrower, and we want to see everyone succeed. It's not like the league is boring, but like I went like 20-0 last season. Like I want to have games. Shit, this guy's gonna kick my. I want you guys to get better than me. I really, really do. And like a lot of people are, like, or at least can win games. I want that.
Hey man, maybe if you didn't have an easy conference.
Yeah, exactly. I want this to be
Tim
super
loves people
competitive.
kicking the shit out of him. That's why he keeps going back to Daddy George. Keep tapping
It's
that
true.
well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I'm back. Is the second Chris leaves, I do, because then I don't want to win. No. But yeah, we want to see you guys get good. We want to see you guys be better than us. So like, yeah, if you want to come and get draft advice and get better, please do. It'd be sweet. But with that, that's the show, guys. This is Parting Shot. We'll be on here weekly. Next episode will be same time at Saturday at 8. We'll probably go over the draft, talk about like people's drafts, things we saw, things we liked, funny, whatever went on. Also, I think we'll have the first week of games in by then, maybe 2, depending on what Trevor says. We'll find that out. Again, if you ever want to be on the show, if you ever want to do what Harry is, again, Harry, thank you for being on. Yeah, just let us know. We'll have you on Parting Shot. So see you next week for, week 1 and 2 and possibly, or the draft and possibly week 1 and 2. Beyond that, guys, thank you. This is Parting Shot. Have a good night.
Yeah. For anyone who's interested, I found the foul play replay, so we're gonna show that one real quick.
We'll post that out. All right, guys. I'm gonna dip on out. So, see you.
Good night.
Uh-oh. Display's messed up now because they left Discord, and that's what it's based around. Oh. Here it is, fellas. This is the game. Here we go. Wish. Leech Seed. Nice Leech Seeds, nice healing. Wait, we gotta switch sides. We gotta get Trevor on this side. The boy switches out. Don't want those seeds. Alright, nice double, nice double. Good wish. Good heal up. Cool spike. Take away the leftovers. Alright, reduce longevity. Nice, nice, I like it. Neat taunt. I don't know what the taunt really was because he was gonna spike faster, but okay. Manages to catch the Mega Bandit, so it kind of has to switch. Nice sword stance, kind of got it for free. Alright, I like it. Wait, what? Was it a speed tie? Are they speed tying? Okay. Oh, Whirlwind. Alright, cool. Alright. I don't really know why he SD'd and then taunted and then immediately switched, but that's cool. As he has to switch out being taunted on his Skarm. Bolt switch, standard. Cool wish, go back into Skarmory, put it back up. Nope, Umbreon this time. Alright, get some HP back on this. Nice life orb, looks like, yeah. SD, wait, hang on. Big damage. Rough skin though, coming in clutch. SD, how much? Gone. Blown away. It did 32 last time. Wait, what do you mean it did 32 last time? Well, if we look, turn 10, Lucario got foul played for 36. Trevor said, "Oh, this is a free SD, I'll live." Exclamation DP foul play. Uses the target's attack. Uh-oh! Yeah, everyone's got to learn somewhere, guys. So, no hard feelings, Trevor, but if you didn't want to get put on the show, you shouldn't have gotten smashed. All right, I'll see you guys next week.